base in moments. Cracklings are so good at destroying, just annihilating bases. And a DT out and is moving across the left side of the map, but there is a Overlord there, and that DT is not going to do anything. Anytime has not had any luck with DTs at all. He had a couple at the beginning, and they got scouted out and destroyed, and he did pretty much no damage with them. And then this one does pretty much no damage either. He killed a few Zerglings, but that doesn't even really matter, to be honest. Doesn't look like either player is really willing to engage right now. They're both probably upgrading and just continuing to macro up and trying to get to their next level of tech. And I'm hoping to see whether we have a Defiler. There's the Defiler, man. Okay, we have a Defiler mount, so we're going to see Defilers pretty soon. And there's the Queen's Nest. I wonder if the Nultros Cavern has gone up yet. Don't see it yet. And anytime he's trying to move up the ramp on the left side of the map here and go and try to hit this new base for Great that's trying to go up. This would be the 6th base for Great. Some storms going, good storms on the top of the ridge there, and he's destroying a lot of units up there. And he's almost actually up. If he dedicates a little bit more, he has no zealots though. That's really hurting him. He doesn't have enough zealots to really climb up that ramp. He's got a couple Archons, but Archons are not the greatest thing against the Hydras that are out there. He really needs zealots to get in there and actually get into the mix and get as close as possible. And it looks like that's what he's doing now. He's bringing some reinforcing units of zealots and a couple more dragoons and things. And this might be a big drop coming in now. That is a lot of overlords. That looks like it has a lot of stuff in it. There's a lot of cannons there at the base. It seems to be aiming for that right side 5 o'clock base or so. And if it goes there, there are a lot of cannons and stormers there. Or it could also go for the main here. If there's some defilers and things, you could see some swarm going down over all those gateways, and losing your gateway production would suck a lot for and does, yeah, he is going for the main here. He's going to drop them off very shortly. He needs to drop. And where's the swarm? Where's the swarm? Good storms. Awesome storms going down by any time. Awesome storms. He needs some more. He needs more storms. And it looks like the cannons are actually going to be enough. Wow, those were some good storms. The Kraken's coming here, but there's no Defiler. There's no swarm or anything. The Kraken's are going to be able to take down a lot of these photon cannons, but the Reaver's going to do a lot of damage, and the storms did so much. There's only a few Krakens left. They might be able to take down this last cannon, but it's not really going to matter. And that was a very ineffective drop, actually. And while that drop was going down, Anytime took advantage and moved on the left side of the map and took down that 6th base there. So there are a couple lurkers left, but that actual hatchery went down. And I have to say that was definitely a big win for Anytime. I think Great should have waited until he had some swarm there. And because if he had been able to get swarmed at, that would have been a lot more effective. Those cannons would have done nothing. And Great's now moving across the bridges here to the 5 o'clock position. And now he's got some swarm. Great storms going down on the bridges there, killing all of the lurkers and killing tons of the Zerglings as they stream across. A second swarm going down, but there just isn't enough units. There's like no units in there for Great. Okay, now he's bringing in some extra Hydralisks and Zerglings, and this will be able to do a lot of damage because he needs to aim those Hydralisks better. Oh, there was DTs under that cloud. The DTs under the cloud completely destroyed all of the Hydralisks. So Anytime again successfully defends against another attack by Great. And if he's able to do this over and over again, which he's done it twice already, if he can deflect maybe one more and take down one more base, he will have a huge lead. He does have somewhat of a lead right now already, and he's taking down this base on the left side again, despite the swarm that was there. The swarm was a little bit late, so that was pretty ineffective. And yeah, he's gonna and Great's gonna lose that Defiler, and this is the huge chunk of Anytime's army. So while this is out, Great can probably try and attack something else if he's willing to possibly sacrifice a base. It does look like that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna go for another drop on the main, while at the same time sending the rest of his army to engage and possibly crunch Anytime's army between at that 10 o'clock base. And here comes the drop. Great storms again by Anytime, but there aren't many cannons up this time, and I don't think the stormers have enough storm left. Still no swarm, but that's a lot of Krakens. They're doing a lot of damage, but at the same time, Anytime's taking down this base that's across the bridges at the 10 o'clock position. He's going to take down this base, but he might get boxed in by a lot of Zerglings and everything, and it does look like Anytime's being forced to retreat a large portion of his forces, his first set of reinforcements back home. And he hasn't really lost too many gateways yet, so he hasn't really lost production. Even though that Nexus goes down, it wasn't really doing too much. It'll hurt his gas production a little bit, but there weren't really any mineral miners going down anymore. And there are some lurkers here, and he needs some of. Okay, yeah, he does have observers, and he's just gonna storm the hell out of all this stuff. And he's gonna clean this up here. I mean, it was decently effective by Great, but not as good as it could have been. Still, again, no swarm, which is really confusing me as to why he's doing these drops with no swarm. If he just went in there with swarm, he'd be able to do so much more damage. but so far he has chosen not to for some reason or other. And it does look like this is going to be a Reaver drop on the right side, and Great has no idea this is coming. And those Reaver shots are killing so many drones. All of the drones on the right side there, every single drone is dead now. And those Reavers are going to be able to clean up the units that come in too. And Great coming in for another drop at the main. Please give me some swarm this time. And but these two Reavers are doing so much damage to that base over there, and on the right side of the map. And now all the Zerglings are coming in there. They're doing a lot of damage here, but anytime he's bringing his forces back, and he's going to be able to clean this up again. And once again, I don't think this is going to be effective by Great at all. And again, he came in with no Defilers, no Ultras, no Titans. He just came in with Zerglings and Hydros, and I just don't get it. I honestly just do not understand why he's not coming in with Defilers or Ultras or some kind of bigger tickier attack here. He's had this he's gotten 3 drops in on the main. With 3 drops in on the main, you'd think that a lot more damage would have been done, but it's been pretty weak so far. I have to say, it's been pretty weak. And now there's a ton of Archons out there. There's 4, 5 Archons, 6 Archons, and some Storms, and there's already Reavers out. And once it becomes Reaver Archon is just so hard to deal with when you're Zerg. Zerg just doesn't, it's not often that you see Zerg come back once the Reaver Archon gets going. Once they get a lot of Reavers and Archons, it's pretty much over. It'll beat Ultralisks and Defilers any day, even Cracklings. It doesn't matter once enough Reavers and Archons come out. And now anytime he's just moving across the middle of the map, just taking down everything, and he goes storming. He's using these Archons. He's got Reavers, and even these swarms don't really, they help a little bit because the Archons are only doing splash damage now instead of full damage, but the Reavers are still doing their full, like, 125 damage or whatever if they're upgraded, and just destroying things. And yeah, it does look like the ace players are just sitting there. Yep, we've got this. This is pretty much done. Anytime just needs to clean up and just don't screw up. And Anytime just got Great on the back foot so far. And Great is going to go down, it looks like here. He is being pushed all the way back to his natural, all the way back to the top right corner of the map. He's slowly whittling away Anytime's forces, but he's throwing so much at it. He's throwing pretty much everything he has at it, and at the same time, Anytime is just growing and growing, continues to macro up with really no fear at all. Most of the Archons are down now, but the Reavers are still going to be so hard to take down without some support. And Anytime now coming in on the right side from the bottom with Zealots. He's coming from the top with Archons and Reavers, and he's just going to completely take down this base. Yeah, this whole base is going down. And Great can honestly just GG at any point, unless he has something big planned here for some big hoopla at the end, but I don't see how he could. His main is mined out. That mineral only at the top right looks like it's... No, that one's probably... It looks like it might be mined out, and he's got to be hurting for resources. He's hurting for hatcheries. He's hurting for military. He's hurting for everything. He's got very little going for him right now, if anything. And Anytime is going to take this down. He's completely deflected all of Great's attacks, and it's those deflections more than anything. It's the fact that Great was completely ineffective in all of his drops and all of his attacks. He did virtually no damage this entire game with any of his attacks, and that's going to be the loss for him. And now Anytime's moving into this base on the right side that's right above the bridges at about the 4 o'clock position with Archons and Zealots, and all that's here to defend is Sunken Colonies. There's no real military units here at all. I mean, I guess the Overlords can do like tentacle things, but they don't do any damage. And there's GG from Great. Anytime takes us down with some great play, and I think Hades looked a little bit off there. I gotta say, I'm kind of confused as to his strategy in that one. He had some great positioning, he had some good drops going down, but the drops just did not, and like timing for the drops I should say. He had some good timing for the drops. He had decent unit mixes, but he did not have tech units, you know. I love the crackling drops, but he really needed to get more in terms of Ultralisk and Defilers, especially Defilers. That first drop, if he had Defilers and gotten 2 swarms down, that would have been the end of a lot more. That would have certainly gotten rid of the Nexus on the first drop rather than the second, and probably been able to start hitting those gateways and everything. And unfortunately, he went either before he got Defilers or just chose not to go with Defilers, and his attacks were pretty much nullified over and over again. So Anytime gets the win off of his great defensive play and counter attack. And Air Force Ace is now up 2-1. We'll be going to set 4 on Neo Medusa. It'll be Casey versus Firebat Hero. I will see you in set 4.